It is the dog days of summer, and even the night fishing is getting tough as that water warms up. But if you get out early and you pick these baits up when the water is at its coolest it'll be all day, I guarantee you're gonna catch some bass. August to me is the month of combos, and I'm not talking about rods and reel combos. I'm talking about baits that are similar or close to the same, but slightly different. Sometimes the bass during this time of year can be so finicky that they may be eating one thing, but something that I've learned from forward-facing sonar, if you're throwing something that's close to what they want, if you throw it that first time, you might get a whole group of bass following. If you throw it a second time, you're gonna get one or two of them following. By the time you throw that bait for the third time, a lot of times, if it's not right, that group will ignore that bait. But it's always good to have two baits because a bass's memory is pretty short. So if you find one that they are biting, a lot of times what you can do is you can throw that bait that maybe they're interested in once or twice, and then pick up that one that they want to chew on and throw it again when they stop biting it. So show them something a little bit different, close to what they seem to be wanting. Because I think, again, a bass's brain, and we give them so much credit, is no bigger than my pinky nail. So you can throw something out there, and I think it almost wipes their memory clean. Then you throw the one that they really like and are chewing, bam. And we proved that today. So you need to keep your eyes peeled for a fishing video. It was really interesting what we did and how we did it today. But that being said, that brings us to one of my favorite things to do this time of year. And you don't have to throw the big ones, throw the 5, 6, 7 inchers. But this time of year, a lot of times, like the bass do when it's cold, they're not going to expend the energy to eat unless it's a big meal. Like I say, this time of year, the bass don't want some Vienna sausages. They want a steak. So they don't want no little wieners. They want a big worm. And these are two of my favorites right here. This is the Mag Old Monster by Zoom, and this is my straight tail, which by the way, this thing will float up. This is the Mighty Worm from Yum. These are two classics, and I love to use these and drag them down ledges when the sun comes up out deeper, or in brush piles and laydowns once the sun comes up. Man, you will get some big bites. The great thing about a big worm is that you can rig it Texas rig or Carolina rig. You can Nico this, which is a deadly way to fish this bait right here. Or you can put it on a big mag shaky head. But like I said, one of my favorite ways to rig it this time of year is weedless. By the way, make sure you check out these bobber stops. I found this kit on Amazon and they're dirt cheap and you get like 1,000 some for them. And always using my Angler tungsten weights. This is a flipping weight. He also makes worm weights, which I gotta get some because I'm out of them. And that is number 5 on my list. Now, speaking of shaky heads, geeks, if you haven't seen this video, I'll leave a link in the description for it. But this massive thing is the Ditch Lobster by J Bros, and it is on an Omega shaky foot. And he calls it a shaky foot because it's a football head, shaky head style bait. This is one of my favorite baits to throw from August all the way through until October, early October and September. It is an incredible bait, and it's got some ridges on it, but overall this doesn't have a big crazy flap. It's pretty subtle, so it's great for the month of August. Now, don't be fooled. This is not a little shaky head. This is a Magnum shaky head, and this hook is massive on this Omega Custom Tackle shaky foot. And I know these technically aren't the same thing, but They go so well together, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about having two of the same style of baits that fish the same type of water the same way, so that you can kind of throw out there and get those basses' attention with something like this Omega jig with, again, by the way, the big ditch lobster on it. We all know big crawls in August get big bites. Although not quite the same bait, it's really the same profile, the same style retrieve, and you're going to fish them in a lot of the same area. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out and I've thrown the jig and they'll be biting it, and then they'll stop and I'll throw this. They may peck at it, or you'll get a couple of hits, and then I'll pick the jig back up and they'll hit it, or vice versa. This is combo number 4. Next up is a little combo that might surprise you that I tag team together, but you can fish them a lot the same way, and you can fish them a little differently. That's the key. This is the hair jig, or what I call a bucktail or preacher jig, and this is from Big Daddy's. It's in a gizzard shad style, and I like to be able to fish it pretty fast, so this is a 1 ounce version. Sometimes I will fish it up in the water column and kind of twitch it, and so I'll go a little bit smaller, but this is part 1 of the number 3 combo. What I pair with that, I pair a spoon, whether it be a big nickel spoons Ben Parker spoon, or whether it be one of my favorites here lately that I'm getting a ton of bites on, the little Mojo spoon by Nichols. Really just depends on how big a bait fish that they're keen on. You can go with one or the other. And like I said, the spoon has really been playing a big role here lately. Again, that's my 3rd go-to combo in August. Number 2, because I fish Highlands reservoirs, and well, let's face it, Jacob Wheeler a few years ago was on Chick, and he fished a jighead minnow out on the ledges. It is a dominant way to fish, even during August. And the key, I think, is to figure out what type of bait they're keen on. Either your standard, your 3-inch, there's even some companies out there like Great Lakes Outdoors that are making some 2.75-inch little minnows. This is a new one and quickly becoming one of my favorite. This is the 3.75, so a little bit bigger. This one is the Exxon Rally Shad. Now all these come in big sizes like this. This is a 5-inch. They come all the way up to a 7. This is the Demiki Armor Shad. Has been and is to this day one of my go-to baits. This one is the Drift Fry by Jackal. Another great one. It's got a great rolling action to it because of the lip. You can rig it a lot of different ways. This is a great example, one of the bigger ones. It is 5.2 inches. One of the things we got to stop by the Pradco booth, we got to see the new Yum colors in the forward-facing sonar minnow. This is one of my favorites, and this is probably one of my go-to size. They make them in 3, 4, and 5-inch, and this is the Gizzard Shad. Another great company, local company, Ramsey Baits. I love that he'll make me whatever color I want. This is a 4-inch style. He also makes a 3-inch style. This is in smelt. Last but not least is the Raid Fish Roller. This thing is made all the way up to, I think, 7 inches, which I've got a few I haven't tried yet, but I'm telling you, during the summer, bigger is better. Again, like I said, the fish roller from Raid Baits. Now I'm going to give you 3 of my go-to heads for these baits. One of my favorite, if it's a non-Elastec bait, has got to be my Angler Tungsten Eclipse head. This is 100% tungsten. It's got the screw lock on it. Comes in a couple different hook sizes and a ton of different weight sizes. Next up is the Rollin' Strollin' head by Queen Tackle. you need to get the most roll out of any minnow, this is the head for you. A little bit hard to tie that loop knot on sometimes, but this head right here is amazing. Next up is by Big Daddy Baits, and look at the length of the shank on that hook. I love this. I also love how far the eye tie comes out, because it really does, when you tie a loop knot, give you a great body roll. So if you're fishing those 5, 6, 7-inch baits, I believe this is the new 4-aught, this bait will make sure you don't get any shore strikes. The next combo is Topwater, and there's a lot of different mix and match things you can do. For example, this is the Viva Sky by Catch, quickly becoming one of my favorite topwater baits. It's super subtle, especially in the clear water that I fish. One of the best baits I think I have ever put my hands on, and one of the best colors has to be this. This is the Heddon One Knocker. Spook, this is Pearl Melon. I don't remember what this color is called. Again, links in the description, by the way. Anything you need, there will be links in the description. And if you don't care, please bookmark that link if you're on a computer or a laptop. If not, make sure you scan this code right here so that you can bookmark it on your phone or tablet. We appreciate it. Use that anytime you're going to make a purchase from Tackle Warehouse. It helps us out, and it doesn't cost you a single penny to do. But what's great about these is they both have the same type of walking. This one's a little different than this one, a little quieter, a little more subtle. This one is a little louder, going to throw a little more water. So you've got that sort of 1-2 punch that you can show those bass. Again, another great walking bait. This is the Yozuri 3DB. Let me tell you something that we've been playing with this year. I want to give this a special shout out, because it's definitely a different look and sound to those topwater walking baits, and that is the Zigzag from Bill Lewis Outdoors. So again, a little clear bait with a little different sound, and something that you can change any bait to a little different sound, a little different look with. And then we come to true popping baits, and these couldn't be more different. This is the Labino Lures Rico, I believe the Royal Rico, I don't know how to say it, but anyway, this is a great bait to walk, to chug, to pop and stop, and sits on top of the water all the time. This is the Prank from Booyah Baits. This thing will pop, and it will swim and wake, or swim and it'll shimmy side to side while it's underwater. So a real hard kind of crankbait side to side action. So two baits that do two different things that can get you a ton of bites in the dog days of summer. And that's number 2. And absolute number 1 has got to be a swim bait for the summer. Now, there's a few different ways that I like to rig some swim baits for some big summer bites. This is one of the easiest. This is a Ramsey Baits swim bait. I think it's an RBA or something like that. Again, links in the description. On a ledge head lures, 1/2 ounce. It's a 6/0 hook. One of the reasons why I love this bait right here is because it's very flat-sided. So during the summer in these highlands, clear bodies of water, open water, no grass, no timber, this bait is super subtle coming through the water. It's got a little bit of a head roll thanks to the ledge head lures designed weight, and it's got a nice little tight tail kick. It's a great summertime swim bait. And of course, one of my favorite colors, ghost shad. You want to throw a change up or a good combo? Well, today was a great example of that. The same swim bait on a 3/4 ounce Tennessee River Bling by Ledge Head, and that's what was getting bites. We're seeing a lot of followers, a lot of big followers on this. but that underspin was money. Sometimes throwing a bigger bait can get those bass and those schools fired up, but they might not commit to it. So then you come in with a little smaller underspin like this one from Ledgehead, the Micro Tennessee River Bling. And again, both of these swim baits are by Ramsey Baits. You can switch it up even more. Let's say they're focused on these smaller bait fish. Well, for whatever reason, they're not hitting the underspin. How about pulling out the heavy overspin or top spin by First Gen Baits? This is a 3/4 ounce, man, and it's a small blade on top, so I can get this thing down super deep and slow roll it and get those big bites. And that is my August top 5. You talk about some combos that are going to get you bit. First thing in the morning's the best time to get out there on the water and fish. Get to your spots. Those bass are going to be there every single year. You can set your watch by it. You can mark your calendars almost by it. And every year you can come out and hit those spots and catch those bass. Have a stinking great time. And then by lunch, you're off the lake getting some wings and beer. All right, geeks, that's again my top 5. Listen, I want you to go check out that video that we just did talking about how well a big shaky head and a big jig is going to work together. Make sure you go right here and check out that video. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. You geeks know I love to talk about fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad. Help us get to 100K geeks. And you geeks rock.